Captain Jinwoo Park stood at the viewing deck of Earth's main orbital station, watching the stars. His coffee had gone cold hours ago, but he did not notice. The radio in his ear crackled with another desperate message from deep space. "This is Refugee Ship Broken Wing. We carry 50,000 Nalan survivors. All colonies refuse us entry. Please, Earth Station, we have nowhere else to go." Jinwoo closed his eyes. This was the 15th such call this week. The galaxy had gone mad with war, and the peaceful species were paying the price. 3 months ago, the hegemony wars had started. The Vrex Empire, the Keth Dominion, and the Mural Confederacy began fighting for control of the galaxy. But they were not just fighting each other. They were also removing what they called weak species from their territories. The Vrex said some species were too soft for their warrior culture. The Keth claimed certain races were not smart enough for their advanced society. The Mural declared that some beings had minds too simple for their psychic powers. Dr. Hee Jin Kim walked up behind Jin Woo. She looked tired. As Earth's chief scientist for alien life, she had been working day and night to help the refugees who were already arriving. "Another ship?" she asked, seeing his worried face. 50,000 this time, Jinwoo said. "All Nalan. Their homeworld was burned 3 days ago." Hee Jin shook her head sadly. The Nalan were plant-like people who only ate sunlight and water. They had never hurt anyone in their entire history. But the Vrex called them useless because they would not fight. "Where will we put them?" she asked. "I don't know," Jinwoo said. "We already have 2 million refugees on the planet. The camps are full." Earth had started taking in refugees almost by accident. The first ship had arrived damaged and asking for repairs. Captain Park had let them stay to fix their ship. But when they tried to leave, every other world in the galaxy refused to let them land. So they stayed on Earth. Then more came. And more. Soon, Earth was the only place in the galaxy that would take the unwanted species. Admiral Taemin Lee entered the observation deck. His uniform was neat, but his face showed worry. As head of Earth's space forces, he knew how dangerous their situation was becoming. "The Galactic Coalition just sent us another warning," he said. "They want us to stop taking refugees." "What did you tell them?" Jinwoo asked. "I told them we would think about it," Taemin said. "But they are getting angry. 3 coalition worlds have already stopped trading with us. The coalition was supposed to keep peace in the galaxy, but when the 3 big empires started their war, the coalition became weak and scared. They were afraid to help the refugees because they did not want the empires to attack them too. Down on Earth, millions of refugees were trying to build new lives. The Kricks were insect-like people who were very good at building things. They had started making underground cities for themselves and others. The Yothak were made of living crystal and could turn sunlight into power. They were helping Earth cities use clean energy, but it was not easy. Different species needed different food, different air, different temperatures. Some could not be in the same room together. Dr. Kim and her team worked every day to solve these problems. In the city of Neo-Seoul, Yuki Tanaka managed one of the largest refugee camps. She had started as a city planner, but now she was like a mayor for 200,000 aliens. Every day brought new challenges. "The Zephyrians need colder air," her assistant told her one morning. "But the Thermians in the next building will die if it gets too cold." "Put the Thermians on the south side where the sun hits," Yuki said. "And ask the Kricks to build better air systems." This was her life now, always trying to make different species live together peacefully. Meanwhile, Daehyun Choi was changing how Earth grew food. His farms now produced strange new crops that fed alien visitors. Blue grain for the hexapods, sweet gas fruits for the Aryans, mineral-rich soil cakes for the rock-eating lithoids. "We need more space," he told his workers, "and more time. These new crops take months to grow right." Mi Young-seo had maybe the hardest job of all. She was learning to speak with species that had no voices, no words or thoughts too strange for human minds. The chorus spoke only in music. The shapers talked by changing their body shapes. The mind touch shared thoughts directly. Every day she helped solve fights between species who could not understand each other. Every day she learned something new about how different kinds of minds could work. But the pressure was building. The 3 empires were finishing their wars by destroying the weak species completely. Whole planets were being burned. Billions of peaceful beings were being killed just for being different, and Earth was the only place they could run to. "Sir," Jinwoo's radio officer called to him. Long-range sensors show 3 large fleets moving toward the outer systems. Jinwoo felt his stomach drop. Which empire? All of them, sir. They're not fighting each other anymore. They're moving together. Admiral Taemin stepped forward. How long until they reach Earth? At current speed, maybe 2 weeks. The 3 men stood in silence. They all knew what this meant. The empires had decided that Earth was a problem that needed to be solved. Dr. Kim spoke first. We have to warn the refugees. No, Admiral Taemin said firmly.
Not yet.
We don't want panic, but we need to start preparing. Jinwoo looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, 3 massive war fleets were coming to Earth. They wanted to take away all the refugees and probably destroy them. But Earth had made a choice. When the galaxy cast aside the weak and different, Earth had opened its doors. When no one else would help, humans had helped. Now they would have to live with that choice or die with it. Jinwoo picked up his radio. Refugee ship Broken Wing. This is Earth Control. You are cleared to land. Dock at Station 7. Welcome to Earth. He turned to Admiral Taemin. How long do we have to get ready? Not long enough, the Admiral said. But we'll make it work. We have to. Outside the station, more refugee ships appeared in the darkness of space. They came carrying the last survivors of worlds that no longer existed. They came with hope that Earth would protect them. Earth would try, even if it meant standing against the 3 most powerful forces in the galaxy. Even if it meant the end of everything. 6 months had passed since the first refugee ships arrived at Earth. The planet looked very different now. Where once there had been empty fields, strange new cities rose from the ground. Where once only humans lived, now dozens of different species called Earth home. Yuki Tanaka walked through the morning streets of what used to be called Refugee Camp 7. Now it was New Haven City, home to 500,000 beings from 20 different worlds. The streets buzzed with activity as different species went about their daily lives. A group of Crix workers scuttled past, their 6 legs moving quickly as they carried building materials. They were heading to the construction site where they were building new apartments. The Crix could dig and build faster than any human machine. Good morning, Yuki, called out Hive Singer Bust, the Crix leader she had worked with for months. His voice came through a translator box on his chest. Morning, Bist, she replied. How is the new hospital coming along? Finished tomorrow, he clicked proudly. Ready for all species medical care. This was the miracle of the last 6 months. Instead of just surviving, the refugees were making Earth better. The Crix built amazing buildings. The Yothak provided clean energy. The Nalan helped sick plants and animals get healthy again. Every species brought something useful, but it was not easy work. Daehyun Choi stood in his expanded farms outside New Seoul, watching hexapod workers tend to blue grain crops. The 6-armed aliens were perfect farmers, able to work on many plants at once. But growing alien food was still hard. The soil acid is wrong again, his human assistant Junho told him. The lithoid food rocks won't grow properly. Daehyun sighed. The rock-eating lithoids needed special mineral crystals to eat. Growing these crystals was like growing rocks, which was not natural for Earth soil. Ask the Nalan to help, he said. Their root systems might be able to change the soil better. This was how everything worked now. When one species could not solve a problem, another species could help. It was slow, but it was working. Mi-young Seo sat in her office trying to solve a different kind of problem. In front of her, a shaper alien kept changing from a tall, thin form to a short, round one. Next to it, a chorus member hummed angry musical notes. What is the problem? She asked through her universal translator. The shaper changed into a shape that looked like anger. The chorus sang a sad song. Ah, Mi-young said, understanding. The chorus thinks the shaper is mocking their music by changing shape to the rhythm. She turned to the shaper. They are not trying to mock you. Their music is how they talk. You changing shape to their words is like someone moving their lips when you speak. The shaper shifted to a shape that looked like understanding. The chorus sang a happy note. Good, Mi-young said. Now you can work together on the new school project. Every day brought problems like this. Species that had never met before had to learn to live together. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it did not, but they kept trying. The biggest problem was not on Earth, though. It was in space. Dr. Haejin Kim read the latest reports in her lab. The news from the galaxy was getting worse every day. The three empires had finished fighting each other and were now working together to destroy all the weak species. 23 worlds burned this week, her assistant told her. No survivors, Heejin closed her eyes. Each burned world meant entire species were gone forever. And the empires were not stopping. Worse, the rest of the galaxy was turning against Earth. The Galactic Coalition had kicked Earth out. Trade routes were closed. No ships from other worlds would come to Earth anymore. We're completely alone now, Admiral Taemin Lee said when he visited her lab. Every other civilization is either destroyed or too scared to help us. What about the Coalition? Heejin asked. Surely they won't let the empires destroy us. Taemin shook his head. The Coalition is weak. They're afraid that if they help us, the empires will destroy them too. On Earth's orbital stations, Captain Jinwoo Park watched the last trade ship leave Earth space. The captain of that ship had been his friend for years, but even he would not risk coming back. They declared us a contaminated world, Jinwoo told his officers. Anyone who trades with us will be punished. This was how the empires were fighting Earth without attacking directly. They made it so no one would help Earth. No food, no materials, no technology, no friends. But Earth was not giving up. In underground labs that the Cricks had built, Dr. Junho Yang worked with scientists from 12 different species. Together they were creating new technology that had never existed before. Look at this, he told his team, showing them a new power source. Yothak crystal technology mixed with human fusion and hexapod bioengineering. It produces 10 times more energy than anything the empires have. The different species were sharing all their knowledge with each other. Technologies that had taken thousands of years to develop were being combined in new ways. The Aryans, who flew through gas clouds in space, taught humans how to build better spaceships. The mind-touched, who could link their thoughts together, helped improve Earth's communication systems. The Shapers, who could change their bodies, helped design new tools and machines, but they all knew time was running out. So Ranam, Earth's new military strategist, studied star maps in the Defense Center. She was planning how to protect a planet that was home to 200 species with almost no weapons. The empires have started moving, she told Admiral Taemin. Long-range scouts report 3 massive fleets heading toward our sector. How massive? He asked. Each fleet has over 3,000 ships. The Vrex fleet is all warships. The Keth fleet has planet-killer weapons. The Miral fleet has psychic attack ships that can drive people insane. Taemin felt cold. Earth's entire space force had maybe 200 ships, and most of those were converted civilian vessels. How long do we have? Maybe 2 months before they reach Earth space. In the refugee cities, word was starting to spread that danger was coming. But instead of panic, something else was happening. Hyunwoo Kang watched as Crick's engineers worked with human builders to create defense systems around the cities. Hyothik energy specialists helped design shields. Nalan bioengineers grew living armor for buildings. They're not running, he said to Yuki as they watched the work. The refugees are staying to fight. This is their home now, Yuki replied. They have nowhere else to go. If Earth falls, they all die anyway. That night, representatives from all the refugee species met with Earth's leaders. The meeting was held in the Great Hall that the Shapers had grown from living crystal. President Minho Choi, Earth's elected leader, spoke first. You all know the danger coming. We understand if you want to leave. We will help you find ships. Hive singer Bizet spoke for the Cricks. Where would we go? Every world rejects us. Earth is our home now. Song of Sorrow, speaking for the chorus, sang a melody that the translators turned into words. We will fight with humans. We will die with humans if necessary. One by one, every species gave the same answer. They would stay. They would fight. They would defend the world that had defended them. Dr. Kim felt tears in her eyes. These beings had lost everything. Their worlds, their families, their entire civilizations. But they had found something new on Earth. They had found hope, and they would not let anyone take it away. Admiral Taemin stood up. Then we prepare for war. All species together. We may be outnumbered, but we are not alone. Outside, Earth's sun set on a world that was no longer just human. In the cities below, millions of beings from dozens of species worked together, preparing to defend their new home. The empires had cast them aside as worthless. Soon they would learn how wrong they had been. 2 years had passed since Earth became a refugee world. The planet had changed so much that visitors from the old galaxy would not recognize it. Where once stood simple human cities, now rose incredible structures that mixed the building styles of 50 different species. Dr. Jun Ho. Yang walked through the underground research facility beneath New Seoul. The tunnels stretched for miles in all directions, carved by Crix workers and lit by Yothak crystal technology. Here, scientists from dozens of species worked together on projects that would have been impossible alone. "Show me the new fusion reactor," he said to his assistant, a young hexapod named Six Arms Dancing. They walked to a chamber where humans and aliens worked side by side. In the center sat a machine that hummed with incredible power. It used human fusion technology, but it was wrapped in Yothak crystals and controlled by air and gas flow systems. It produces 50 times more energy than old human reactors, Six Arms Dancing explained, her six arms moving rapidly as she talked. "And it's completely clean." The Naylan helped design the biofilters. This was happening everywhere on Earth. The refugee species were not just living on the planet, they were making it stronger. The Crix had built underground cities that could survive any attack. The Shapers had grown living buildings that could repair themselves. The Mind Touched had created communication networks that connected every city instantly. But the galaxy outside Earth had become a dark place. Sora Nam stood in the military command center, reading the latest intelligence reports. Her face was grim as she studied the data from their spy satellites. "The Empires have finished their cleansing," she told Admiral Taemin Lee. 47 species are completely extinct. 63 more have less than 1,000 survivors. All dead because they were weak, Taemin said bitterly. "It gets worse," Sora continued. "The three empires have signed a formal alliance. They call it the Pure Galaxy Treaty. They have agreed to share technology and work together. To do what? To destroy Earth. They consider us a genetic contamination that threatens their pure galaxy. The empires had spent 2 years killing off species they did not like. Now they were ready to finish the job by destroying the world that had protected those species." In the Yothak Crystal Gardens, Hyunwoo Kang worked with alien engineers to build Earth's new defenses. The gardens were beautiful, with living crystals that grew like trees and pulsed with soft light. But these crystals were also weapons. "The energy shields are ready," reported Crystal Songbright, the Yothak chief engineer. Her crystalline body sparkled as she spoke. "They can protect all major cities from most attacks." "What about the space defenses?" Hyunwoo asked. "The Aryans have grown bioships in Earth's upper atmosphere," she said. "They are alive and can think for themselves. They will fight alongside our metal ships." Earth's military had changed completely. Instead of just human weapons, they now had technology from dozens of species. Crix tunnel systems let them move troops anywhere on the planet in minutes. Nylon bio-armor could heal itself and grow stronger. Shaper pilots could change their bodies to fit any type of ship. But their biggest advantage was something the empires did not understand: unity. In the Great Meeting Hall of New Geneva, representatives from all Earth species gathered for an emergency session. The hall was a masterpiece of cooperative building: Crix-carved stone, Yothak crystal lighting, Shaper-grown furniture, and Naylan living walls that cleaned the air. President Min Ho Choi stood before the assembly. 2 years of leading a multi-species world had changed him. He was stronger now, wiser, and completely determined. "The empires have sent us their final message," he announced. The hall fell silent. "They demand that we surrender all refugees within 30 days. If we refuse, they will attack with their combined fleets." A sound rose from the assembly, not quite human, not quite alien, but something new. It was the sound of hundreds of different species all expressing anger and defiance together. Hive singer But spoke for the Crix. "We will not surrender. Earth is our hive now." Song of Sorrow sang for the chorus, and the translators turned her music into words. "Let them come. We will sing them a song of resistance." One by one, representatives from every species gave the same answer. They would not surrender. They would fight. Dr. Ji-Woo Lee, Earth's chief diplomat, stood up. "I have spent months trying to contact other civilizations for help. The Galactic Coalition refuses to even answer our messages. Every independent world is too scared to help us. So we fight alone," President Minho said simply. "No," said Mind Touch Gentle, speaking for the psychic species. "We fight together. That is the difference." Outside Earth's atmosphere, Captain Sujin Han commanded the orbital defense stations. Her crew was a mix of humans and aliens working at stations designed for multiple types of beings. Some had 6 arms, some had crystal bodies, some were clouds of gas in special containers. Long-range sensors are picking up the Empire fleets, her sensor officer reported. He was an Aryan whose gaseous body flowed inside a protective suit. How many ships? Sujin asked, counting now. My stars. Over 10,000 ships total. All 3 Empire fleets combined. Sujin felt her heart sink. Earth's entire space force had grown to about 800 ships, and many of those were converted civilian vessels. They were outnumbered more than 12 to 1. But she had seen what the combined species could do when they worked together. Send word to all stations, she ordered. Begin final preparations, and send a message to the planet. It's time. On Earth's surface, the preparations that had taken 2 years were finally put into action. In every city, civilians moved into underground shelters that the Cricks had built. The shelters were not just hiding places. They were complete underground cities with their own power, air, and food systems. Yuki Tanaka helped organize the evacuation of New Haven City. As people moved into the tunnels, she was amazed at how calm everyone seemed. Humans and aliens worked together, helping each other, making sure no one was left behind. Are you afraid? She asked a young Nalan child who was carrying a human baby. The plant-like child's leaves rustled, and what she had learned was their version of a smile. No fear, Earth is home. We protect home. That was what the empires did not understand. These were not just refugees hiding on Earth anymore. They were Earth's children now, and they would fight for their home like any parent would fight for their family. In the research labs, Dr. Junho Yang made final checks on their secret weapons. The empires thought they knew what Earth could do. They expected human technology, human tactics, human weaknesses. They had no idea what 50 species working together could create. Mi-young Seo stood at the main communication center, coordinating with defense posts around the world. Her screen showed messages in dozens of languages, from beings with completely different ways of thinking. But somehow it all worked together like a symphony. All defensive positions report ready, she announced. The bioships are in position. The crystal shields are charged. The tunnel networks are operational. Admiral Taemin nodded grimly. Then we wait. The Empire fleets were still weeks away, but everyone knew this was the calm before the storm. The 3 most powerful civilizations in the galaxy were coming to destroy Earth and everyone on it. But Earth was not the same world that had taken in the first refugees 2 years ago. It was stronger now, smarter, united, in a way that the galaxy had never seen before. The empires thought they were coming to destroy a weak world, full of worthless species. They were about to learn that there is no force in the universe stronger than the combined will of those who have found a home worth fighting for. The war for Earth's survival was about to begin. The attack began at dawn. Colonel Yoonji Lim sat in the cockpit of her fighter ship as alarms screamed across Earth's orbital defenses. Through her canopy, she could see them coming, thousands of enemy ships dropping out of hyperspace like angry metal stars. All squadrons. This is control, came Captain Su Jin Han's voice over the radio. Empire fleets are entering Earth space. Battle positions. Yoonji looked at her wing pilots. To her left flew Spiral Dance, a Crix pilot whose 6 arms could control her ship better than any human. To her right was Windsinger, an Aryan whose gas cloud body could react faster than solid flesh. Behind her, Crystal Heart piloted a ship grown from living Yothak crystal. This was Earth's secret weapon. Not better ships or stronger guns, but crews that combined the best abilities of many species. Remember, Yoonji said to her mixed squadron, we know our ships better than they know theirs. We fight as one. The Vrex Empire attacked first. Their massive warships came straight at Earth's orbital stations, firing plasma cannons that could melt through solid metal. They expected Earth's defenses to break quickly. They were wrong. As the Vrex ships opened fire, Earth's Yothak crystal shields flared to life. The shields did not just block the attacks. They absorbed the energy and fed it back to Earth's own weapons. The Vrex found themselves fighting an enemy that got stronger every time they attacked. Their shields are impossible, a Vrex commander screamed over the radio. Our weapons are making them stronger. But the Vrex were not the only threat. The Keth Dominion attacked from the other side of the planet. Their ships were smaller but filled with advanced technology. They fired quantum missiles that could phase through normal shields and weapons, that could disrupt electronic systems. The Keth expected to shut down Earth's technology quickly. They had always won by being smarter than their enemies. But Earth systems were not just human technology anymore. When the Keth quantum missiles hit Earth's ships, they found bioarmor grown by the Naylan. The living armor adapted to each attack, changing its structure to resist whatever hit it. When the Keth tried to jam Earth's communications, they found networks created by the mind-touched that worked through psychic links instead of radio waves. Jin-Soo Park sat in the main communication center, coordinating the battle. His screens showed the fight happening all around Earth. The displays were designed by shapers who could process information faster than human brains, and they were operated by hexapods whose 6 arms could work multiple systems at once. Rex fleet is breaking through Orbital Station 3. He reported to Admiral Taman. Send the tunnel fighters, the Admiral ordered. This was something completely new. Crick's tunnel technology had been adapted to work in space. Earth's fighters could disappear into small portals and reappear anywhere around the planet instantly. The Vrex found themselves fighting enemies who could attack from any direction without warning, but the worst was yet to come. The Miral Confederacy attacked from above and below the planet's orbital plane. Their ships were strange, organic-looking things that pulsed with psychic energy. When they attacked, it was not just with weapons. They sent waves of mental force that could drive enemy crews insane. Miral psychic attack incoming, shouted an operator in the defense center. The psychic wave hit Earth's defenders like a hammer to the mind. Human crews screamed as alien thoughts invaded their heads. Many ships went dead in space as their pilots lost their minds. But not all of Earth's defenders were human. The mind-touched species had natural defenses against psychic attacks. As the Miral wave hit, Mind-Touched Gentle and her people reached out through their mental networks, creating barriers around human minds and filtering out the alien thoughts. Psychic shield holding, Mind-Touched Gentle reported, her voice calm despite the mental strain. Human crews protected. For the first time in their history, the Miral found an enemy that could resist their greatest weapon. But the Empire fleets had one advantage: numbers. Even with all of Earth's innovations, there were simply too many enemy ships. Colonel Yunji's squadron fought desperately around Orbital Station 5. They had destroyed dozens of enemy ships, but more kept coming. Her fuel was running low and several of her pilots were injured. "Control, this is Red Squadron," she called. "We're being overrun. Need immediate support." "Support is coming," Captain Sujin replied. "Look up." Yunji looked toward Earth's upper atmosphere and gasped. Rising from the planet's cloud layer came something impossible, a living ship the size of a city. It was grown by the Aryans, a creature of gas and energy that could think and fight for itself. The bioship moved like no metal vessel could, flowing through space like water, changing shape to avoid attacks. When it fired, it did not use energy weapons. It breathed clouds of corrosive gas that ate through enemy armor. "This is Sky Dancer," the bioship said, its voice somehow reaching every Earth fighter at once. "I am here to help my little metal friends." But even the bioships were not enough. The 3 Empire fleets were working together now, coordinating their attacks. Where one Empire's weapons failed, another's succeeded. They were slowly pushing through Earth's defenses. In the underground command center, Admiral Taman watched the battle displays with growing worry. Soranam stood beside him, calculating losses and movements. "We're losing," she said quietly. "At this rate, they'll break through to the planet in 6 hours. "What about the surface defenses?" Taman asked. "Ready, but if the fleets get past our orbital stations, the ground battle will be very short." That was when something unexpected happened. On the bridge of the Vrex flagship, Commander Warclaw was celebrating their approaching victory when his communications officer made a strange report. "Sir, we're getting messages from the Keth fleet. They're complaining about our attack patterns." "What?" "They say our plasma fire is interfering with their quantum weapons. They want us to change our attack angle." At the same time, on the Keth command ship, Admiral Logic Prime was having his own problems. "The Miral psychic attacks are disrupting our targeting computers," his tactical officer reported. "Our weapons are missing their targets." And on the Miral flagship, Overmind Supreme Thought was growing angry. "The Vrex ships are too close to our vessels," he told his subordinates. "Their crude metal thoughts are polluting our psychic networks." This was the problem with the alliance between the 3 empires. They had never really fought together before. Each had their own way of fighting, their own technology, their own tactics. When they tried to work together, they got in each other's way. Earth's defenders noticed this immediately. The Empire fleets are interfering with each other, Jinsu reported to Admiral Taimin. Their attack coordination is breaking down. Then now is our chance, the Admiral said. He opened a channel to all Earth forces. All units, this is Admiral Lee. The enemy is confused. Begin Operation Unity Strike. This was Earth's master plan. Instead of fighting 3 separate battles, they would force the Empire fleets to fight each other. Earth's fighters suddenly changed tactics. Instead of engaging the enemy ships directly, they started hit-and-run attacks designed to drive the Empire fleets closer together. Crick's tunnel ships appeared in the space between the fleets, firing at all 3 sides and then disappearing. The Yothak crystal ships began broadcasting false signals that made it look like each Empire fleet was preparing to attack the others. The Mind-Touched used their psychic abilities to plant suggestions of betrayal in the minds of Empire commanders. Within an hour, the Empire alliance began to crack. The Keth are targeting our ships, Warclaw screamed over the radio. The Vreks are trying to steal our victory, Logic Prime responded angrily. Both of them are plotting against us, Supreme Thought declared. What had started as a coordinated attack on Earth became a 3-way battle between the empires themselves. Ships that had been fighting Earth's defenders suddenly turned on each other. Aaron Cho worked frantically in the medical bay of Orbital Station 2. The battle had been raging for 8 hours, and wounded were coming in from both sides, Earth defenders and captured Empire soldiers. Doctor, the Vrex prisoner is asking for you. Her nurse, a gentle Naylan named Leaf Whisper, told her Erin went to the Vrex warrior's bed. He was a massive creature with scales and claws bred for war, but his eyes showed confusion and pain. Why do you heal me? He asked through a translator. I am your enemy. Because you're hurt, Aaron said simply. That's what doctors do. The Vrex stared at her for a long moment. My empire would not heal captured enemies. We're not your empire, Aaron replied, checking his bandages. We're Earth. The warrior was quiet for a while. Then he said something that surprised her. I have never seen species work together like yours do. How is this possible? Practice, Aaron said with a tired smile. Lots of practice. Outside, the battle continued to rage. But something had changed. The Empire fleets were fighting each other as much as they were fighting Earth. The alliance that had seemed so strong was falling apart. Earth's defenders pressed their advantage, using their unity against the Empire's division. The war was far from over, but for the first time Earth had a chance to win. The war's turning point came on the 3rd day of battle. Captain Sujin Han watched from her command ship as something incredible happened in Earth's orbital space. The 3 Empire fleets, which had come to destroy Earth together, were now fighting each other more than they were fighting Earth. But Earth's defenders had a secret plan that would change everything. Dr. Junho Yang worked frantically in his mobile lab aboard one of Earth's captured Empire ships. His team of multi-species scientists had been preparing for this moment for months. They had built something the galaxy had never seen before, a quantum broadcaster that could send messages instantly to every ship, every planet, every communication device in the galaxy. Are the records ready? He asked Mi Young Seo, who had spent months preparing the most important translation of her life. Ready, she said, her hands shaking slightly. Every language, every communication method we know. The whole galaxy will understand this message. What they were about to broadcast would change everything. For 2 years, Earth had been collecting evidence of what the 3 empires were really doing. They had recordings of empire leaders planning genocide. They had videos of entire planets being destroyed. They had testimony from survivors of the empire's cleansing programs. The galaxy had been told that the empires were fighting a war for civilization. Now they would learn the truth. Begin transmission, Sujin ordered. Across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, the normal communication channels suddenly went silent. Then a new signal began broadcasting. It started with a simple message in hundreds of languages. This is Earth. We have something to show you. On the Empire homeworlds, citizens gathered around their screens in confusion. They had been told that Earth was a world of genetic criminals and species traitors. Instead, they saw something impossible. Humans and aliens working together, building together, living together in peace. Then came the evidence. The broadcasts showed Empire death camps where undesirable species were being systematically destroyed. They showed Empire scientists performing horrible experiments on living beings. They showed Empire leaders laughing as they planned the destruction of entire civilizations. On the Vrex homeworld, War Chief Supreme watched in shock as the broadcast showed Vrex soldiers burning Nalan children alive. He had been told they were destroying military targets. "This cannot be true," he said to his advisors. "We are warriors, not murderers of children." "The High Command told us these were combat operations," one advisor replied weakly. "Then the High Command lied to us." The same scene was happening across all three empires. Citizens who had supported the war because they thought it was necessary were learning that their leaders had been lying to them. But the real shock came when the broadcast showed what life was like on Earth. The galaxy saw Crix, children playing with human children in crystal gardens. They saw Yothak healers working alongside human doctors to save lives. They saw former enemies from dozens of species working together to build a better world. Most amazing of all, they saw the refugee species fighting to defend Earth, not because they were forced to, but because they wanted to protect the world that had protected them. On planets throughout the galaxy, something began to happen that the empires had not expected. People started asking questions. "Why are we killing these beings?" asked a young Keth scientist. "They seem peaceful. If Earth can make peace between all these species, why can't we?" wondered a Miral philosopher. "The Vrex military told us these species were dangerous," said a Vrex citizen. "But they look harmless." The Empire leaders tried to stop the broadcasts, but it was too late. The quantum signal was too powerful, and it was being repeated by sympathetic beings on every world. The truth was spreading faster than they could contain it. But the most important audience for the broadcast was not on the Empire homeworlds. It was on the thousands of subject worlds that the empires controlled. On these planets, beings who had been labeled as inferior or undesirable watched the Earth broadcasts and saw something they had thought was impossible, a world where beings like them were valued and respected, and they began to rebel. The first uprising started on Keth Colony World Zephyr 7, where the local hexapod population had been used as slave labor for decades. When they saw hexapods on Earth working as equals with other species, they decided they wanted the same thing. "If they can be free on Earth, we can be free here," declared their leader, Many Armstrong. Within hours, hexapod workers across the planet stopped working and demanded their freedom. When Keth security forces tried to stop them, other inferior species joined the rebellion. The same thing happened on dozens of worlds. Species that had been oppressed for generations saw Earth's example and decided to fight for their own freedom. The Vrex Empire suddenly found itself dealing with revolts on half of its colony worlds. The Keth Dominion discovered that their slave workers were no longer willing to be slaves. The Miral Confederacy faced psychic resistance from species they had thought were too weak to fight back. In Earth's orbital space, the three Empire fleets were falling apart. Ship crews were receiving messages from home about the rebellions. Many were learning for the first time what their governments had really been doing. On the Vrex flagship, Commander Warclaw faced a mutiny from his own officers. "Sir, we cannot continue this attack," his second-in-command said. "The broadcasts show that our own people oppose this war." "We have our orders," Warclaw replied, but his voice lacked conviction. "Our orders were based on lies. The Earth humans have done nothing but help those who needed help. How does that make them our enemies?" Similar scenes were playing out across all three fleets. Some ships began withdrawing from the battle. Others turned their weapons on their own flagships. A few even switched sides and began defending Earth. But not all of the Empire forces gave up. The hardcore leaders who had planned the genocide were not willing to admit defeat. They regrouped their loyal ships and prepared for one final assault on Earth. Admiral Taemin Lee watched from Earth's command center as about 2,000 Empire ships formed up for a desperate attack on the planet's surface. "They're making a final push," Soranam reported. "All remaining loyal forces from all three empires attacking together." "Can our defenses hold?" Taemin asked. "Maybe, but it will be close." That was when Earth's true allies revealed themselves. Captain Sujin Han was coordinating the defense when her sensors detected new ships entering Earth space. At first she thought it was more Empire reinforcements. Then she saw the identification signals. "Admiral," she called down to the command center, "you need to see this." On the main screen appeared dozens of ships from neutral worlds throughout the galaxy. They were civilian vessels. Merchant ships, even some old military ships from independent planets. "This is Captain Velskar of the independent world Harmonious," came a voice over the radio. "We have come to help defend Earth." "This is Commander Zigzag of the Free Traders Union," said another voice. "Earth defended the defenseless. Now we defend Earth." One by one, more ships announced themselves. They were from small worlds and independent systems that had stayed out of the Empire Wars. But Earth's broadcast had inspired them to act. "Why are you here?" Admiral Taman asked over the radio. Captain Velskar answered for all of them. "Because Earth showed us what the galaxy could be if we had courage. If a small world like Earth can stand up to 3 empires, then maybe we can too." The final battle was brief but intense. The combined forces of Earth and its new allies faced off against the last loyal Empire ships. The fighting was desperate, with both sides knowing this would decide the war's outcome. Colonel Unjilium led the final charge, her multi-species squadron diving into the heart of the Empire formation. Around her flew ships from a dozen different worlds, all fighting for the same dream, a galaxy where different species could live together in peace. When the last Empire ship was destroyed or surrendered, a strange silence fell over Earth's orbital space. After 3 days of constant battle, the war was over, but the real victory was what happened next. President Minho Choi stood before the assembled representatives of Earth species and their new allies. The meeting was held in the Great Crystal Hall, now expanded to hold beings from across the galaxy. "Today we start something new," he said. "Not an empire based on conquest, but an alliance based on cooperation. Not rule by the strong over the weak, but partnership between equals." Dr. Jiwoo Lee presented the charter for what they called the Free Species Alliance. It was a simple document with one main principle. Every sentient species had the right to live freely and determine its own future. One by one, representatives from Earth's refugee species signed the charter. Then came the independent worlds that had helped in the battle. Finally, to everyone's surprise, came representatives from the 3 empires. "My people are tired of war," said former War Chief Supreme of the Vrex, who had overthrown his own high command. "We want to learn to live in peace." "The Keth people choose cooperation over domination," declared the new Keth Council leader. "The Mirals seek harmony of minds, not conquest of minds," announced the reformed Miral government. 5 years later, Earth looked like something from a dream. The orbital stations had been rebuilt as welcoming ports where beings from hundreds of species came to trade.